Hello, hello, good morning. It's Monica from Life is Art, and this is the Saturday 10 a.m. live at the Tastes of Summer online crop. And as promised yesterday, we're going to be looking at some happy crafty mail. And somebody asked me, do you want crafty mail? I'm like, yes, please. And so our happy crafty mail that we're going to be talking about today is the Paper Pumpkin subscription. And I really wanted to show you last month's Paper Pumpkin that arrived. I have not made any of the projects yet. I thought we could make them together and see what it's all about. And normally the Paper Pumpkin arrives in an orange box, but on occasion the boxes come and they look a little different. And so the July box was one of those. And when it showed up at my door, I was super excited. So I thought we could enjoy that together. I'm just bringing up my video on the side. If you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. If you're watching later on replay, you can drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And for some reason, I cannot get the video to to show up. So hopefully we are in the right place, and hopefully we are recording, and hopefully you can find it better than I can. So let's see. I'm going to give it one more try. Oh, there we go. Finally, it finally showed up. Awesome. Okay, there we are. I see Laura's here. Good morning, and Katie as well. So the wonderful thing about Paper Pumpkin that I love, besides fabulous crafty projects, is that everything you need is in the box. And this has come in handy. I have taken my Paper Pumpkin boxes with me to the mechanics. And while you're sitting there waiting, I've made my projects because everything is in there. When you first sign up, the very first box you get, you actually get a stamp block, and then the subsequent orders you get, each month, you don't get a block every time. They figure you've got a block, they're not going to waste blocks. So one thing though is that I think Paper Pumpkins make really good gifts for people, and I'm just thinking about, we're starting to be back to school. You think about the college and university kids who are going back, or young adults. And, school is a very stressful time. And sometimes you need a way to take a break and to get some creativity going. And I think that these would be fabulous because everybody can use a few cards now and again. And you can also create them anywhere. They don't take up a lot of space. Everything's in the box. When you're done, you're done. And I think it's fabulous. And also things like birthday gifts. I think a crafty box is even better than, like, what was it from National Lampoon's, a Jelly of the Month Club? So when you open your box, you will notice that it's lovely gift wrapped inside. You get a stamp set and a Stampin' Spot. Now I have the garden green ink, so I'm not going to open my Stampin' Spot because I like to be able to use these to share with somebody else who needs a particular color. So I like to set mine aside if I already have the full size ink pad. So that's what I'm going to use today, but the Stampin' Spots work just great. We've got some sentiments on here. We've got hello friend, life is sweeter with you, thank you, you're the best, love you lots. It's got strawberry on the top and some 2 different sizes of strawberry blossoms. So a cute little stamp pad. And then, of course, you get to unwrap your lovely little gift. And my daughter usually runs away with my tissue paper. Now I have taken this out of the plastic. This usually comes all wrapped in plastic so you don't lose any bits. And the box also comes wrapped up so that nothing falls out in transit. And so in this one, which was the July one, we received everything we need to create 4 cards, 2 of each, or 8 cards, 2 of each design. And they are gorgeous strawberry themed cards. Now this is your instructions, and they're all done as pictures so that it doesn't matter what language you speak. It should be obvious what's happening. And so I think that's fabulous. We're going to start with project number 1. Let's take a look at what else is in here. We've got some adhesives. We have dimensionals. So a nice little sheet of dimensionals. I'm going to put my dimensionals on this side. So remind me, adhesives are on the right. We've got glue dots and we've got tear and tape. So we'll put all those over there to the side. And then there are coordinating envelopes. I love that they send envelopes that have a lovely pattern on them. Sometimes there's multiple patterns. Sometimes they're all the same, but love this little scallopy edge going all the way across here with the beautiful plaid. So that will look gorgeous with our, I'm going to put those over there, with our cards. And then we have card bases. So we've got a couple that have strawberries all over them. I love that they're printed both on the front and the back, and some people get really creative and do other things with them besides follow what's in the instructions. And then here's even a vellum sheet of die cut pieces. Actually, there's 2 sheets because we're going to make 2 cards. We've got a scallopy rectangle and a square rectangle. Then we've got some beautiful plaid happening here in some very pretty summery colors. Then up next we've got some die cuts with some tabs and some boxes and tags and die cut around sentiments. So we'll set those aside. Then we also have 2 more base cards. So there will be a total of 8 base cards altogether. Hey Brenda, good morning. Oh, Mom's here too. Robin says it's a hot day already, plus 25. Ugh, so hot. That's too hot. I'm glad you're inside watching this. And here we have some more die cuts, some with printing on them, some with dotted edges. I love that there's so many layers in this. And then 2 more base cards, so that's the last of our bases in beautiful garden green. And then we have some die cuts. And look at all the gorgeous die cuts. Large pink strawberries, small red ones. Look at all the blossoms. And then, I'm running out of room over here, so I'm going to kind of show you here. Look at these die cuts with the intricate little vines and beautiful strawberries. So pretty. Look at all of those. And then they also give you a little sheet that shows you your stamp set. So if you had trouble reading the stamp set, they give you a nice one that kind of points out what you want. So if you are the kind of person who keeps a digital catalog of your stamp sets that you own, you can scan this in and then you'll have a nice idea of what's in there. And then you get a piece of chipboard, so those of you who like to do crafty things with chipboard, you can set that aside and save it for a project. Okay, let's get started with project number 1. For number 1, we're going to need one of these lovely vinies. Whenever you punch out a die cut, now these are really well cut, they practically fall out. I always push what I want to save towards myself and push the throwaway part away. You're going to throw it away. So you push it away. And what that happens is, if there's a little catch somewhere, and you're pushing the throwaway part away and pulling the keeping part towards you, if there's any tear out, it will be on the back side of your die cut, and it won't affect the front side. So that's why you always push the trash away. Now there's lots of other things on here besides trash, but push the trash away because you're going to throw your trash away, and you pull what you want to keep towards yourself because you're keeping it. That's always my rule of thumb, and that's how I remember which way to do it. So we want to have that, and then we're also going to need some of the beautiful blossoms. We're going to need 5 of those, and I think they're probably all the same. So 1, 2, 3. Now, if I was doing this, without recording it, I would do both cards at the same time. But for the video, we're just doing one at a time. So we need that. We also need the cutout that has the shape for Hello Friend, which is right here. Again, we're pushing the trash away, and we're pulling the keeping piece towards ourselves. There we go. We've got Hello Friend. Now we need a large scallopy piece, and I'm going to say that's probably the vellum. So again, throw away, pushes away, keeping towards ourselves. I love how well they pop out. So we've got that. And we need our card base, which is this lovely pink one with the dots, just one of them. We can go ahead and fold that already and just squish that down. There we go. And I'm just going to tuck it up there so it's out of the way. What else do we need? We need a strip that's got the minty kind of color on it. And now to decide if these strips and those strips are different strips. Because there's these 2 over here, and then there's this one over here. And you know what? They're exactly the same. And that's something that I like quite often when there's a spot where you have to stamp a sentiment or something. They give you extra because inevitably you have a boo-boo, right? You go a little crooked, you went off the edge, it didn't ink right. So you can see here there's 3 of these little strips too. So they give you extras. I love that. Okay, so I think we have all of our pieces now, do we? I believe so. Okay, so now we're going to do some stamping. We want the Hello Friend. When you remove your stamp from your carrier sheet, you want to walk it off gently so nothing gets pulled or misaligned or anything like that. If you treat your tools well, they last for a long time. So there's our Hello Friend. Oops. And I'm going to grab a longish block. You want to season your stamp set. Just rub it on your arm or your hand. If you've recently put on hand cream, don't do it on your hands. Do it on your arm. And we also want the Love You Lots. The good thing about these is that because the sentiments aren't pre-done, you can choose, right? There's the You're the Best. You could do that instead of Love You Lots. And so it's nice to have a choice so that you're not having to do what somebody else told you to do. There's still leeway. And of course you can take all the components of the kit and completely make whatever you want with them. It doesn't have to be just what they say. Hey, Heather, and Carol's here too. Hello, Laura. Yay, you found me. Okay, now on here it gives some indication of the stamping. So we want our garden green ink. And again, I'm using the full-size one just because I already have it. We're going to bring in the Hello Friend. And we're going to ink up our sentiment. And it's always good just to check. And we just line it up in the center. I love that it's got a fun shape all the way around. So if you're not a fussy cutter, look at that, no fussy cutting. Then we're going to bring in this little strip here, and we're going to stamp the Love You Lots. There we go. Now, is it always a card making kit? No. There are on occasion different things included in the kits. before Christmas, there was an ornament type project. I'm trying to think if there were any. I think that's the only one I've had so far that wasn't a card kit. Now, on here, let me just show you a couple different symbols, and they're all used here. These gray lines are tear and tape. The gray circles are glue dots, and the little hexagons are your Stampin' Dimensionals. So they show you where to place them and which adhesive they recommend you using. So on this one, we're going to add some tear and tape, just on these big leaves. Easy peasy. And on the back of all these little flowers, we're going to put a glue dot. These are great projects to have if you're out in the trailer camping and you want something for a rainy day too, because it's all self-contained in the box. And when you're all done, the projects can go back in the box and stay safe while you're waiting to get home. Even if you're not traveling, they're fun to have on hand for, you know, maybe the kids need something to do in the summertime when all you hear is, I'm bored. So we're going to add some dimensionals on there. And then on our Lots of Love, it doesn't actually say what we're going to use. Interesting. They just left it blank. But we're going to need something. So we'll decide when we get there. Okay, for our lovely little vellum. That's the word I want. Our lovely little vellum. We are going to add our decorative element first before we attach it to the card, because if you've ever worked with vellum, you know that vellum and adhesive are kind of a little tricky. If you use liquid glue, you can see it. Even glue tape, you can see it. But if you're doing something like this, where you're attaching an embellishment over top of it, then what you can do is flip this over and add adhesive anywhere where it's going to be hidden by the embellishment. So we're basically going to repeat what we did before, adding the tear and tape behind all these elements on our die cut, and then it's ready to stick down onto our card base. Sometimes when I stick vellum down, I put the random bling. And that's where the adhesive is hiding behind the random bling. So we're just going to center that on our card like that. And then we're going to come in with our hello friend. We'll do that next with our dimensionals. And that's kind of about there, just centered. And then let's add our lovely little strawberry blossoms. And we're just following the picture on the instructions. Let me kind of bring it in so you can see. I'm just following the cute little picture here. Let's tuck one over here. There might be an upside and a downside. You never know. We'll just kind of take a look and see which way we like it. And let's add one right there. I think that's so pretty. I love this kind of, I'm not a pink person, but the pink with the strawberries is really pretty. And balanced out with that dark green. There's a lot of dark green on there, and that helps too. Okay, let's add this one. Is it under or over? It's on top, right? Like that. And then our little lots of love. And I'm just going to take a look here. And I think we need to use this for it. But I'm just going to use the little edge pieces. I know, I pulled in scissors. That's not in the kit. But that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to put this on the lower half of the sentiment, because I think some of the sentiment is going to be riding above the hello friend. So we'll put it at the bottom, and there is always leftover adhesive. When you create these, I have never run out. All right, this is going to go partially on top of that flower. Line it up there. Lots of love. How sweet is that? Comes together super easy. Let's pop that one up here, and let's move on to the second one, which we're going to be using this card base for. Let's fold it in half. Comes pre-scored, making our life easy. And what else do we need? We need a circle with a scallop and a little dotted line. Again, we're going to punch towards ourselves like that. We also need the little pink box. Let's grab this one like that. We're also going to use a strawberry. And that looks like, because there's different sizes, I think that is one of these larger ones. But let me just double check. I'm pretty sure it is. Sometimes the way to check is just to see. So we're going to have one there, so that's 4 altogether, and then there's going to be 6 in this card. 6, so 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so these are the ones. These are the ones. It's always good to double check. What's the real problem if we use the wrong one? We just use a different one later on. It's not really a major problem. You just mix and match. Okay, so we've got our scallop. We've got that. We need a vellum rectangle. That's this guy that popped itself out. And we also need 2 of the little blossoms. Right here. Whoops. 1, 2, and I believe that is everything. Okay, so let's scooch this aside. On our circle, we're going to stamp a thank you. Let's take this off the carrier sheet. Again, walking it off. You walk it off your stamp block as well. And by walking it off, I mean you start with the one side and then you just boop, 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 walk your fingers along, taking it off. Don't grab one side and then yank off the whole thing, because that's not treating your stamps very nice. You want your stamps to last. Okay, we're going to season that up. Grab our ink. We're going to stamp our thank you right in the middle. And if you don't use thank you cards, don't stamp thank you. Stamp something else. And I use a lot of thank you cards, so that makes me happy. All right, and then we're also going to stamp the "You're the Best," which is a nice sentiment with thank you. So we've got "You're the Best." Walk it off. And I like to lay my stamps down after I've peeled it off. Give it a second to relax and then pick it up, because you've yanked it this way and that, and it might get a little out of alignment just by taking it off. And so instead of putting it on the stamp block with my hand, I'd rather pick it up from a resting position. All right, so there we go. We've got a "You're the Best." We can put this away. And now we need to put some adhesive and start sticking it together. So first we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to do some layering with our items here. So on our circle, we're going to add dimensionals. So we're going to add 1, 2, 3, and then on our I want to say sunflower, our strawberry, we're going to add a dimensional, but over on that side, the left side. And then on our little guys here, we're going to add some glue dots. How's everybody doing? Are we liking these? The looks of these cards? What's everybody doing today? All right, let's grab our thank you. We're going to pop that on. Have it sticking up above the vellum. Then, oh, I put the dimensional on the wrong side. Of course I did. We want it on the other side. There we go. Problem solved. We're going to add our lovely little strawberry like that. Then we're going to add our You're the Best. So I think we'll just use a bit of tape to do that. It didn't specifically say. And I'm going to just tuck it in there like that. And then we can go ahead and attach this to our card, and we can add a couple strips of the tear and tape in behind all of those embellishments so that they will be hidden when we attach this to our card base. There we go. And kind of center from side to side. And stick it on down, adding in our little blossoms. I love how it doesn't take a whole lot, and you know that from creating your own projects. When you've got a lovely pattern in the background with that small scale pattern, you don't need to add a lot to a project to make it look lovely. Actually, that one I think should be with some dimensionals. It shows it as a dot. This one would be a dot, but I'm thinking a dimensional might work out better on there because it's overlapping with the strawberry. Let's just grab a little bit of dimensional there and overlap it onto the strawberry. And there we go. There is project number 2 with that pretty layering and dimension on there. Let's go ahead and grab project number 3. And this is the one with the dark green base. So we're going to grab that. And you can decide which pattern of the base you like the best. And we're going to do some stamping on this base. You can see they've stamped some of the little florals. So we'll grab those, and they give a little bit of advice here. Just put them on one beside the other on your block. Whoops. So we put our big one, and then our little one, and because they're all together, that really speeds up your stamping. Just put that on there like that. Again, we're going to season them because they're brand new. We'll take our card base and we're going to do some tone-on-tone stamping. So it's just a fun little bit of pattern in the background. Ink that up. And let's stamp those like that. We're going to try and aim for where they stamped. And like that. If you're worried about whether you're getting it in the right place, you can always bring in the pieces that are going to go on top and just check for placement. But worst comes to worst, you just stamp another one. There we go. So we've stamped those pretty little flowers around the edge of our card. Oh, let's leave this. Well, no, let's close it until we get everything out, because I will inevitably stick something in there that doesn't belong in there. We even get one extra of these large strawberries because we're stamping on them, so you can totally create another project later using that. And then we need, let me see, from here we need one large one and one small one. And then from here we need 1, 2, 3 blossoms. We also have the stripy panels. So let's bring those in. Stripy panels. What else? What else are we missing? We have our strawberry. We're going to stamp on that. We've got our card base. We've got our stripy panels. We've got our big and small. Big and small. Oh, we need 2. A total of 4. So let's grab another small and another big. I wondered about that. There we go. Okay, let's stamp on our sentiment. And I wanted to do this without having made any of these ahead of time, because I wanted you to see that really, even if you've never done it ahead of time, it's not a hard project. You just follow the instructions. We're going to stamp our thank you right there in our our strawberry. For some reason, I've now tried to call them what? Watermelon, mushrooms, my brain. It must be Saturday. Then on our stripy pieces here, which one of them went for a wander, we're going to add some parent tape. And now it's only showing 1 strip. If you want to add more than 1 strip, you can totally do that. Then on our strawberries, we're going to have dimensionals on, let me see, we're going to have dimensionals on that, and dimensionals on these. So, little one, big one, and this one gets 2. You can add more. There's no law saying you can't. Then on this guy, we're going to add a couple of glue dots, but they're on the right-hand side on the back. And then all of our little blossoms are going to get a glue dot in the center. Although one of them, I think one of them needs a dimensional. That's just my personal opinion looking at how it's sitting on there. I think one of them's going to need a dimensional. So this one, I'm going to stick a dimensional on there. So as you're creating, you can always adjust, and it'll work either way. That's the thing. It's not like it's going to make or break it. It will work either way. So let's take the backing off our 2 stripy pieces. And these are going to kind of be overlapping each other a bit like that. And we want to stick it up here so that a little bit of the stamping is showing here and there. And I think that actually worked out really well. I seem to have gotten my stamps in the right spots, which is amazing. Okay, and then, let's see, this guy and this guy. Are these the ones with the dimensionals? We shall see. We're going to layer these 2 guys together, one on top of the other, like so, and stick them up here in this corner. Ta-da! And then our thank you will be going on next. We're going to end up with backings everywhere. That's inevitable. And this guy is going to kind of overlap like that as well, right in the center. And then we have, you know what, I probably should have stuck those differently. Let's see if we can we take this guy off? It's only got one dimensional. And I think we were supposed to put the guy with the no dimension up here. Makes sense. There we go. Like that. And then this guy that does have dimension, that makes sense. Sometimes you have to work it through in your mind, right? And then this last guy, I just knocked my dimensionals on the ground. It's all good. Okay, so these ones, we can tuck this little guy up here. This little guy is going to go in between these ones. Super cute. And then this one with the little bit of a dimensional that I shoved on there, he's going to tuck right there. And just because it was overlapping that pink one, that, sorry, my head's in the camera now because I got to pick up the dimensionals that fell on the floor. My elbow snagged them. So there we go. Another fun card created. And there's nothing saying that you can't make any additions to that too. Say you're like me and you're the kind of person who wants something a little bit shiny, a little bit blingy on there. You can totally add a little bit of shine, a little bit of bling afterwards. And sometimes they send shiny bling in the kit. It just depends on the style of the card and what they've decided to include. So here we go with our last card. And I don't even have a timer going to know how long this has been taking us. But probably all my talking makes it a little slower. This is going to be a horizontal card. And so we need our card base. Then we're going to need this scalloped rectangle. Again, popping it out, what I want to keep towards myself. Scalloped rectangle, that's going to have a sentiment on it. We need the little baskets, the little strawberry baskets. One of those. We need a couple of the blossoms. I love how well punched these are. Like, they're just, they fall right out. A couple of blossoms. And then we need a pink strawberry. Let's grab a pink strawberry. And we need 3 of the larger strawberries. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And is that it? And then we also need a smaller strawberry. Yes, there we go. Those are all our components, I think. Now we're going to stamp our sentiment onto this, and it is the Life is Sweeter with You stamp. I'm going to walk that off. Now, because I'm being lazy and I'm not washing my stamps, I've got a collection of stamp blocks going on here. But one other thing you can use that chipboard for, if you are giving this to somebody or you're creating on the go, that piece of chipboard that came in there, when you're done stamping with a stamp, you can stamp it off all over that chipboard to get all the ink off, and then you can put it back on the carrier sheet. So that's a good tip there. So let's grab our ink. And we're going to stamp it over on the right-hand side of this panel. Life is Sweeter with You. And I think that is all the stamping we need to do on that one. So, on the back of this, we are going to add a vertical and then 2 horizontal pieces of tear and tape, like that. Then on the back of this, we're going to add a strip of tear and tape. Again, you can add more if you want. There's more. It's not like you're going to run out right away, and you've probably got adhesive on your own. So if you decide you don't like a particular adhesive, I know some people are not keen on these glue dots. You could use liquid glue if you wanted. I don't mind them. You just got to make sure you get them all grabbed. All right, so these guys are going to kind of cluster together, and we're going to have this one in the front. So it's telling me to put my dimensional up here because the rest of it's going to be sitting on. And then 2 of these strawberries, we put the dimensional kind of in the center. And then this last one is going to be sideways. So we want the dimensional kind of near that side. All right, let's start adhering things together. Scooch those up and we'll kind of figure it out as we go along. I love being able to look at the pictures, and it kind of walks you through some of the step by step. But sometimes you have to make your own judgment call, and that's okay. We're going to center this on our card, left to right, top to bottom. There we go. It kind of sits inside this block pretty nicely, so that might help you keep things square and true. And so we've stuck that on, and then we are going... You know what's kind of funny about this? They go to the effort of using all of those strawberries, and then the one strawberry is actually hidden. Oh, but I guess it shows down on the bottom. That makes sense. We gotcha. Okay, so we're going to stick those all together, sort of, and in behind this. So let's take this off, and then the one that's going to be sideways, we're going to put that in there and line it up so that you can see that little bit of red through the little holes. I get it now. And then we're going to have, let's see, so I can see the colors, flip them over. We're going to have our left, we're going to have our middle, and we're going to have our right. And kind of squish them all in. So now that we've got them there, we can take off our backings. And then stick these guys down where right along the bottom of that. There we go. You know what? I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive just under there so that my box is stuck down good. There we go. Super cute. And then, okay, so this guy, now I know half of them needs a dimensional. So let's put a dimensional down here. These are the things you figure out once you get it stuck on, right? And it's going to kind of sit like that. And then a little blossom. And because this blossom is going to be there, I'm going to add a dimensional to it, I think. We're going to tuck this one on there like that. And then this little guy, all I got to do to make it a dimensional is take the backing off that, grab a little edge piece, stick it right over top of the glue dot. It's just extra glued dimensional now. And then we can go ahead and tuck that right there like that. Life is sweeter with you. So there are our 4 projects completed. We've got matching envelopes for them, and I think those are super sweet. We've got a whole pile of strawberries. I love that big pink one in the center. We've got our basket full of strawberries. Then we have this beautiful layers with vellum and the scallopy circle with stitching. And then this one here. Now, I love this vine. I think if I had to pick a favorite, it would be between these two. Those are my two favorites. But, you know, it's like children. You probably shouldn't pick a favorite, right? But we can. Unfortunately, by the time I get my kit and I show it to you, you can't order this kit anymore. However, I will say this. If you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, and they still have some of the refills available for a previous kit, you can get the refill. What the refill means is you get all the products except for the stamp set and the ink. You get everything that was in the plastic wrap thing. So you get the instructions, the card bases, the die cuts, all the bits and pieces. You just don't get the stamp set and the ink. So if you got this and you said, oh, I want 16 cards, then you would add an add-on or a refill to it, and then you could get more cards, but you don't need an extra stamp set because you already have it. So if you're subscribing later and there are still older kits available, you get them, but then you would have to kind of work out your own stamps for it because the stamps don't come included in the refill. So, saying all that, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing these beautiful projects come together, see how easy they are, and maybe be inspired that these would be something that a friend might like, a relative might like, or you might like, and it could either be a gift or for someone else or a gift for you. I hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you again soon. Don't forget, we have Chat and Craft beginning at noon. We'll see you then. Toodaloo. Bye.